Ask you one thing, like yesterday I just it just came on my Google, like Workday is having a new enhancement coming for this March for AI related. So
Mhm.
is it affecting anything our side also, like whatever
No,
we?
no. So basically, how it works is every year, two times. Okay, Workday used to,
Really?
give us some releases, some new features. Okay,
Yeah.
so sometimes they used to release some feature related to the existing functionality, and sometimes they give us new features as well. Okay,
Mhm.
so every year twice, Workday used to give those features. And what generally happens in those cases, whenever let's say there is a new feature going to be introduced in the month of March, they give us 1 month of time to assess those new features. Okay, like we will see, we have multiple tenants like implementation, sandbox, and production. So what they do is there is a parallel tenant with sandbox. We call that a sandbox preview. Okay, so what Workday does is Workday used to release those new features in the sandbox preview. Okay,
Mhm.
and now what we do is we go to the sandbox preview just prior to the release date. They give us 1 month of time. We used to go to that tenant. We used to analyze those, all those features. We assess the impact in the existing functionality. Also, we assess the new feature which is provided by Workday, like how that can be beneficial to the organization. Okay, and when the release feature, there are two kinds of feature. One is automatically available, another is setup required feature. Automatically available features means by default, Workday is going to introduce those features for all the organizations. Okay, you
Mhm.
will not get a chance to do the setup and all. Okay, it will be automatically available for all the organization. It will be across the globe. Okay, it's not one organization or two organization. Those features will be across the globe. Okay. Now there is another kind of feature we call as setup required feature. So in setup required feature, basically Workday will give you the steps. Like if you want to enable this feature, then what will be the steps? What are the things you have to do? Okay. So
Mhm.
Workday give us all those things. Now the thing which you're talking about, the AI and all. See, each and every product is introducing AI. It's not only Workday. Each and every product is introducing AI, some sort of AI, whether it's a chatbot, whether it's a functionality, whether it's a prediction or anything. Okay. So every product is introducing nowadays AI is a fashion. Okay. Everyone without AI, your product will not be, recognized in the market. Okay, so that's where everyone has to implement AI. Okay, now Workday is implementing AI in a very smarter way, and there are some already, in Workday skills, the AI and machine learning is already there. So let's say when you add any skills to the to Workday Cloud, automatically it understand whether they have any existing skills related to that skill or not. If they have any existing skills, they used to merge those skills. Okay, so those kind of AI, ML are already there in Workday, and at the same time, Workday is moving from coding to no code. Workday is already very less in coding, let's say 70-80% coding, and 70-80% no code configuration, and 20% coding. Now Workday is shifting towards no code mechanism. Okay, no code mechanism means Workday is introducing features like extend, orchestrate. Okay, so when orchestrate for integrations, it has already been live. It is already working and all. So these features are like, it's a kind of replacement of. It's not exactly replacement of Studio, but it will replace 80% of the Studio. Okay, so a lot of things Workday is introducing. Okay, along with that, in recruitment, in other module, Workday is also implementing AIs and all. Okay. So when you say AI in generic, I would say like everyone is introducing AI. Workday is also introducing AI. Now, if you talk about any specific feature which you have read, then we can explore like what Workday is giving to us, what exactly we need to explore and all. Okay, I mean you understood how Workday release works and all, because these are also kind of questions which people ask like have you worked on Workday releases and all. So you have to say like say yes. I mean, I have seen Workday, gives us releases twice a year, and when they give us releases, then they give us 1 month of time as well to assess the impact and introduce the new features in the system. Okay.
Yeah, but how does we tested at our side? Like we assisted for 1 month. That means, as you said, like steps they are giving to us, right? But are they having any demo or any kind of thing also they provide us to go through
Yes.
that, understand, like
Yeah.
from
Generally, Workday
the pro-
provides documentation, they provide videos as well. So what I'm saying is, Workday will give you their, documents. Workday will give you, their videos, their steps, everything they used to do. But assessing impact is something you have to understand, because Workday don't know your system. You know your system, right? So whatever releases they are giving, you have to assess the impact of that release in your system.
okay. Then that impact analysis, like how like for doing impact analysis, how can we process the steps or
So, I mean, if I need to give one example, I would say, there's just one example I'm giving. So, Workday is releasing a feature like there is a edit service date web service. Okay, just an example. Now,
mm,
Workday is changing the version of edit service date. Okay, so in edit service date web service, Workday is actually adding one new field we call as effective date. So basically, Workday is adding the functionality of effective date in the edit web service operation. Okay, so in this particular case, basically, if wherever you have used that web service in your system, everywhere this when this new field will be introduced, there will be impact, right? Because in the latest version, this effective date is a mandatory field which you have not used at all. Earlier that field was not existing. Now this is a new field which is mandatory, right? So now when this field is mandatory and you have not used in your configuration, when this field will become mandatory, you have to use, right? So you have to make changes in your system, right? So basically you have to find out like all the places where this has been used. That means you have to find out all the integrations where this web service has been used to update the service date in the system. Okay. Now once you found out, then there you have to understand like how the request message has been defined, and with this change what exactly changes you have to introduce. Okay, this is one of the feature I'm just talking. Like this, there will be many more features, and each and every feature will be having their own impacts and their own things.
okay.
Okay. So gradually you will learn, all these things, Shweta, I would say.
Yeah, I just got, I mean, just I was checking out the requirements also. So about that also, like how impact analysis is doing. So I don't know what to answer that question.
Mhm.
I mean, somebody experience can give more examples, like how they done impact analysis when the releases came or new feature introduced. But
Mhm.
as I haven't been into any cycle of releases, so what should I do, or what if I will be in that position? What will be my strategy to do the impact analysis? How can I give the answer to that question that I was not aware? So I asked.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, there the generic answer would be like, you don't know what feature is coming. So
Yeah.
basically, wherever you are working, your first strategy should be you should know the system. Okay, if you are an integration person, you should know the configuration of all the integration. Let's say there are 50 integration in your company. Now, you should know all those 50 integration, how the configuration has been done, how integration has been created, what are the things used in that integration. Okay, now if you remember all those 50 integration, and let's say there is a change which is coming in one of the functionality or one of the web service or one of the report and all, whatever it is. Okay, let's say they are depreciating one field. Okay, deprecating one field. Now in those cases, as you know all those 50 integrations, it will click, okay, this is a time of thing. We have 10 integrations where we are dealing with time of data. Okay. Now you will go, you will, analyze all those 10 integrations, and then you will see, okay, in this 10 integration, there are 2 integration where I have used this web service and it might be impacted, right? Then you will start testing those 2 integrations, analyze those integrations. And now when you, what generally you should do is you should run the integration in sandbox as well as sandbox preview at the same time. Okay. Now, if there is a difference between sandbox and sandbox preview result, then, definitely there is something wrong, right? Something has been changed. Okay. So this is how ideally you should be, telling the approaches. Like this is how you are going to do. The first thing is like you have to understand the system. See, I am dealing with 250 integrations. Okay. Now I remember all those 250 integrations. Okay. See, set up in my mind. Now what happens when I go to any call related to any requirement or any release and all, as soon as they say like, they want to introduce this feature with this vendor. Okay. As soon as they say, and they tell us like, this is something we are going to do, very at that very moment, I just, it comes in my mind like, okay, if you want to do this thing, this is something is going to happen. Okay, now we need to find the solution of this one. So basically that comes with the experience, but the strategy will be common. Like you have to understand all the integrations, and based on your understanding, when as soon as you get to know like this is something is changing, you are, it quickly your mind is responding like, okay, in the 50 integration, these 10 integrations are, where, this might be impact. Okay.
Okay.
And then further, when you drill down, then it will be like, okay, in this 15, in this 10 integration, it's just 2 integration where there is actual impact. Okay. And then you are
Okay.
going to work on those integration and you will fix those integrations.
Okay. So just one small question about this only. Like you said, like you have to understand the all 50 integrations. So, uh,
Hmm.
as if I started with any new project, then I will. I mean, somebody give me the KT and tell us these are the integrations we generally used. So I have to go as a to study those integration. I have to open the integration and I have to see all the flows. Is it a right way, or there is any documentation support also there where I mean uh,
Yes.
I
So,
from testing background, so I'm considering like we have a test cases or a regression suite or somewhere that story is created where I can understand it. So how does it work with the workday if for the new person if it started? Can you
see,
give me?
it has nothing to do with the work day. It has something to do the ways of operating where you are working. Okay. Now you
Okay,
are saying like, whenever you get anything, if you get enough documentations, you will be able to just go through those documentation and you will understand. Now let's say you have joined one company where they have not maintained any documentation. What will you do then?
yes,
Basically, you don't have anything, right? So at
right,
that point of time, you need to understand it because you don't have anything, you don't have anything on the paper. You have to understand the integration by itself, and then you create integration documentation. That is a different story. Okay, but
correct,
let's say you join any place where everything is already documented and all. It will be quite easy for you to understand things. But wherever documentations are not there, then you have to understand the integration, and you need to create the documentation, right?
okay,
So it has nothing, it's not a very ideal, anything ideal process. See, what I'm talking about is the reality. Okay, in reality, every
yes,
company has their own ways of operating. Okay,
correct,
and also in workday what happened is someone has given someone has given this project to contractors to implement workday. Now those contractors implemented workday and they just ran away. They did not maintain any documentation, and there are a lot of
oh,
companies I already know where nothing has been maintained. Okay. Now, if you go there, it will be challenging space. So always prepare yourself with the challenging space. Now, if you get the documentation one step down, okay. Now you have more clarity. You will spend less time in analyzing all those things. But if there is nothing, then you have to do everything. It will be time taking thing for you. Okay,
oh,
but the strategy and approaches will be same. You need to understand all the integrations, then based on the features you need to do the needful thing.
yeah. Yeah, And when we are doing our integration session, you told that last after all session completed, you are telling about documentation part and everything, like some feature. I mean, some
Yeah.
information you
So
are shared.
yeah.
I
So
I
so
I don't
basically, yeah, yeah.
recollect.
No, no, no. So it was not actually, the documentation, like, what kind of documentation we should be building in Workday. Okay. So that was the discussion, and that's what, you wanted to understand as well, like what kind of documentation we can build in Workday when we get any requirements and all. Okay. So uh, there are two kind of major documentation from major documentation point of view you come. There will be two kind of documents. Okay, two kind of documents as in one will be IASS. Okay, IASS.
Oh yes, in 360 in 360 Microsoft, they are AI generated. Everything is coming out of it.
Yeah. So basically, see, now you understand the project phases. Okay, how it goes. Okay. So project phases as like the first step which you have to do is, let's do the numeric requirement gathering. This is the discovery phase. Okay, this is discovery. Then the second will be requirement design. Okay, solution designing. This is your design phase.
Oh,
In this design phase, there will be two things you will create. Uh, one is IASS. I'm just explaining the basics. Okay, if you go in detail, there are a lot of things we create. So this is interface asset source specification. Okay, then you will be having one IACS. Basically, this is interface asset consumer specification. Okay, you can do the Google and you will find some sort of template and all, but every company is having their own template again. Okay, so I mean maybe if you find a generic template in the Google, that would be fine. Okay, so this is something is called design document also. Okay, now what is this happen? So if I need to give you an example and then explain you what is these things, this is like, let's say you are building integration from Workday to Concur. Okay, for example, you are building integration between Workday to Concur, where Workday is the source and Concur is the target system. Okay, now
yeah,
they see integration will be designed in both the side, right? In Workday side also and in Concur side also. Okay, because Workday has to create integration to send the data, but Concur will also require to build integration to consume the data, right?
correct.
So
Yeah.
integration will be created in both the system, Workday as well as in Concur. Now here,
Yes.
Workday is a source system and Concur is a target system. Now let's say there are 10 fields required in this integration. Okay, 10 fields as in first name, last name, date of birth, gender, uh, phone number, manager, and blah blah blah. Let's say all these fields are required. Now Workday has to generate output file for all these fields. Okay. Now Workday will in Workday design document it will be mentioned like in Workday. Okay, we are going to create a core connector worker integration, and in that core connector worker integration, we are going to pull these many fields, and these many fields will be transformed into this format, and then this will be delivered to this particular location. Okay, a very high level, I mentioned, but there are templates, where you have to mention, many things like purpose of the change, purpose of the integration, objective, technical functionalities, functional configuration, technical configuration, security configuration, mapping, then delivery configurations, all those things you have to mention, okay, in that document. So basically, for Workday, you have mentioned the workday part. Okay. But for workday, you need a consumer specification as well. So consumer specification will not be actually related to workday, but what they are going to tell you is like what exactly they are going to do with the 10 fields. What will be the design in their system? Okay. What are they expecting? So from workday to conquer, the document which will be created from workday side, that will be source specification document, and the document which will be created from conquer side, that will be consumer specification document. Okay. In case of vice versa, let's say conquer to workday. So in case of conquer to workday, the workday will create IACS document, not SS document, right? Because at that time workday is not a source. This time workday is a source, but when we will be creating integration from conquer to workday, then uh, workday will not be the source, conquer will be the source, right? So in that case, workday will create IACS document and conquer will create IASS document. Okay.
Okay.
So this is something you create. Okay. Now, once you create this,
Enhanced
mhm,
kind of document can, if we are in, we can look for these kind of, these both documents to,
yes.
and integration. Okay.
Yes. Now, once you complete this document, maybe it will be draft version, because when you actually start working on build, then it may be like some changes will be introduced and all. Okay. Because when you build a design document, when you do the solutioning, you are doing based on your high level knowledge. Okay. But when you actually deep dive into building things, then you actually understand like what will be the, you will understand the other challenges which you have not considered during the solutioning, designing the solution. Okay. So this will be draft version, which will be finalized when your build the integration and testing is done and all. Okay. Now the third step will be build. Okay. Build means development. This is a development phase. This is a development. The fourth will be test. Okay, here unit testing will happen, SIT system integration testing will happen, UAT will happen, user acceptance testing will happen. Okay, and if there are other testing, you have already testing background, so you can understand. Okay, although all this testing will happen in this phase. Once the testing is completed, then the last part is deployment. Here you do the migration. Okay, so you are going to deployment. Now here people used to maintain, here basically you have IACS final, because now you know what are the changes are done. You will be having IACS final, you know what are the changes done. Then people used to create run book. Run book contains the steps of activities which we are going to do as part of deploying this project. Okay, this is run book. And then transition document. Transition document is like kind of configuration document, like what are the changes you have deployed in the other tenant, what are the common issues you're expecting. If someone needs to launch integration manually, what will be the steps of launching the integration, all those things. Okay, when you create all these things, now these are the entire process. Now when you create all these things, then you're sorted with the documentation. Basically you will be having everything documented. Okay.
And
Yeah. Mhm.
in this document, like algorithm kind of, or flowchart kind of things are also created, or we as a
Yes,
understanding I have.
so ideally we should see people are not following. I would say like I have seen, uh, I have worked in many, companies, for many clients now. I have seen they are not maintaining, but ideally, all those things should be maintained in the design document.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, I don't know, but usually when I used to work when I was in testing, we used to, for my understanding, for self-understanding, whenever the requirements are coming and the, small functional requirements are, taken out, we start creating the visuals by using the algorithm kind of thing, like a Venn diagram kind of thing.
Hmm.
So just to understand that part, I just asked this. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, see, you can use, say, people use Visio. Generally, see, basically. depends on company. There will be different person with the different roles. So for example, this solutioning, designing and all, this is an architect job. Okay.
Mm,
And when architect work, when they create documentation, their job is to create end-to-end architecture where they should be designing the solution, where they should be creating the flow chart and all those things, the process, end-to-end
mm,
process. Okay. Now let's say your company is not having, the architect. Basically, it's you who is actually managing all the integration design and all. I would recommend creating all those things. It will be a very good learning. It will be very structured. Okay, I would say even though you don't know how to create and all, you can explore on Google and all. But wherever you go, when you start working, I would say from the basic you start, and gradually you will understand automatically like what other things should be incorporated with what you have already incorporated. Okay, so I would recommend all those things in a stepwise process. And in a stepwise process, basically, I mean, I would say like in this way, you visualize like, I am the employee of the company. Now, I have to claim the reimbursement. Well, let's say, we're talking about Workday to Conquer. So you need to visualize in this way. Like I am the, let's say this is an employee, this employee X is a part of this company ABC. Now this employee has went on some vacation, which company has offered. Now this person when came back, if this person has to claim the reimbursement. Okay. Now there is, that worker cannot claim the reimbursement into Workday. We have a different claim reimbursement system that is called Concur. Okay. So in this case, basically for Concur to identify this particular person, Workday has to send data. Okay. So what we are doing, Workday employees getting hired, Workday has entered all the data into the Workday. Now from those data, there are 10 field which should be sent from Workday to Concur, and this is how Concur is going to identify that person. Now when that person came from vacation and when that person is going into Concur, that person will be able to log in, and when that person will be log in, he will be able to claim the reimbursements. Okay. And this will be the end-to-end picture of this particular module which you are implementing, right? So this is how things should be visualized on the paper as well.
okay.
Okay. So basically it's a kind of, say, you can do in a, see, the way I have explained, that will be a very high quality thing. If you're working like that, I would say only 2% people in the industry are maintaining all these things. Okay.
Oh,
Everyone follows like I have got the requirement. I am completing the requirement. I don't care about any other thing. Okay. But the way I have explained, it's a good gesture to yourself, to your company, and it's a quality service. Okay. Like whatever I am delivering, it's a very transparent. I am visualizing everyone like what is happening, what am I implementing and all. Okay. It's up to you, Sweta, how exactly you want to implement. Okay. But if you ask me, I would say you should be maintaining all these things. If you're doing something, do in a better way.
yeah.
So understood all
Yes.
these things about the documentation and everything.
Yes, sure, sure. Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Any other
yes.
question?
No, little bit I have to work on XSLT because it's little challenging looks like for me to understand it more. Like I'm understanding, but it little take time to, practice it.
Mhm. I
Hmm.
understand. That happens with everyone, and especially when you're coming from a non-coding background, then it's a kind of it's a bit of challenging for you, but that's fine. It's mostly nothing is challenging, to be honest. It's just how much time you have spent with that person. Okay,
Correct.
in real time also, whenever it's a, let's say, you are, from a very remote village in India, and suddenly you got opportunity to go to United States. Now, when you come from that remote village, it's like, when you come to Mumbai, you're not able to adapt yourself, you're not able to do everything, you don't know everything and all. And it's like, you have got a direct opportunity from US, right? See, that is a difficult thing for a person who is coming from that remote area. But when that person gives time to the US, one day that person is like, roaming around in US anywhere, doing anything and all those things, right? basically when you spend on time on anything, any activity, automatically that will become easy. Okay, it's just about spending the time. Yep. So that's fine. So basically, I mean, you will understand all those things as well, Sweta. It's just, the way you are practicing and the amount you are practicing. So all good. Any other question related to anything?
No.
Okay. But you are able to do things, right, Sweta? I mean, I am having a little bit doubt in you. Okay. The reason is, I mean, I understand, why I think so. But, at the same time, I am worrying for you because, I have delivered the session and I'm just trying to understand whether how much you have consumed. Okay. So that's a kind of thing. Even I notice people, and I have seen like the questions, whatever you ask is all those are very, very valid questions. Okay, but the amount of practice which you should do, okay, somewhere you are getting stuck
Lagging.
because of time or whatever say because of the tenant and all whatever is the reason. But there I think see you're doing you will good very you will do very good. But at the same time you need to practice. Okay, you need to find some time in practice. Trust me,
Ye-
Workday is a booming technology. You will get a very good opportunity in Workday.
Yes, thank you so much. I started now working on I mean, practicing more because first time when I was practicing, it was like whatever we are doing, and that was we are like was I'm just practicing the same thing. So
Hmm.
in between when the XSLT and all little that big things are started, and same time I couldn't able to get time also to practice more, so I'm just working on that part. So maybe by I need this month to come up with full-fledged understanding so that I'm prepared to face the interview.
Hmm. So yeah, I mean, see, uh, that's fine. Is see, you have the tenant for whatever time, for whatever time you have the tenant.
Yeah,
I would say like, you just read my, you are going through my session. That's a different thing. But you also read the documents, do all those activities from the documents. Okay. And then gradually, you will get the confidence and start thinking scenario by yourself. That is the best part. Okay. It's not
yeah.
only the concept which will make you stronger. It's the way you think, the scenarios you think, the visualizations you get that will make you stronger in Workday. Okay. It's not creating EIB. It's just a two-step. Okay, three step, let's say just a three-step. But thinking about scenarios when exactly this EIB will be used, what this EIB can do and all. These are the main things. This is something you have to understand. When you understand this thing, then you can answer any question in any interview.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, so try to think by yourself and try to relate with the concept, which you have learned. How exactly this is being related, how this can be done, via this thing. Okay, so this is something you have to do.
And one more thing, if I make my resume after my understanding, whatever the things I know, if I put it in my resume, can you give me some inputs on that? Like,
So when you will create resume, there you have to just mention the experiences. Okay. So experiences as in like, see, definitely you're going to mention like, the EIB, the, core connector, the transformation, some ISUs,
yeah.
ISSDs, custom report, calculated fields. Okay. You can give all these things in your resume. At the same
Mm,
time, you have to give some sort of experiences, like, what exactly you have done in the past and all. So I keep iterating integration between Workday and Concur, Workday and Kronos and all. Okay, so you can just mention, and also you are going to show yourself as a beginner in Workday. Okay, it's not like you have tremendous amount of experience in Workday and all. So basically, you need to show them like I know the Workday, but I'm just a beginner in Workday, and this is what we I have done and all. So from beginner perspective, when they will see like, okay, this person has done this many things and all, then they will shortlist you, and then when they will, just take the interview, there you have to present the same way. Like, when you were working, you had got a chance to, just build integration between Workday and Concur, and that this is this is the actually, they wanted to implement a claim reimbursement system, and for that they wanted these many fields from Workday on a daily basis. Okay, and then you created a core connector integration which was detecting the delta. Initially, you launched the full file so that all the employees' records are getting stored in the Concur, and then from the next day you started delivering delta file. That means like for whatever changes happened in the Workday system, you started delivering the delta file to them, and they started updating the delta file. Now, when employees are going into the Concur system, they have, their account is created and they're just doing the reimbursement, and the rest of the part you don't know, because afterwards, whatever is happening, let's say how they are sending the data to payroll and all, you're not across. But your role was to integrate, send the data from Workday to Concur, and that is what was the project. And you have worked on the project, you created this thing, you created design document, you did requirement gathering, all these things you have done, and then finally you created the integration. Okay, so from CV building to giving interview, everything should be in sync. Okay, you understood, the way I have
Yeah.
mentioned and all. So to shortlist your CV, you have to write some experiences in the CV as well, right? So whatever you write in the CV, you should be able to justify that.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I have done this thing in the past, like I have mentioned, I know this thing, that thing, blah blah blah. But to be honest, I don't know all those things. Okay. But it's my intelligence, it's your intelligence. If you don't know, even if you don't know, but still if you will be able to justify, it's fine. So it's up to you. Whatever you can justify, you should be mentioning that, you should be showing that in the interview. Sometimes they don't care about what you know. Sometimes they just care about how quickly you learn things, how intelligent you are, you know, how you're observing things, what will be your approach. Most of the times they evaluate these things in the interview instead of whether you learn EIB or not, whether you know EIB or not. Okay, they used to evaluate, like, if I give you this situation, what will be your approach, how will you deal with this thing, how will you build the solution for this thing. Okay, so when you talk about anything, always don't go from the technical perspective, you go from the approach perspective. Okay, this is something I have to implement, and this is what, this is how you explain. That will, that will be a very good, sign of yourself in the interview. This is something I can recommend to you.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay.